Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a company that is absolutely everywhere in the tech world. But here's the thing, you've probably never even heard of them. So, I've got a riddle for you. What company makes money every single time you buy something from Apple or Dell or HP, but doesn't actually manufacture anything themselves? Who is this mystery middleman? I'm going to give you 3 clues to see if you can figure it out. All right, let's start digging and see if we can uncover the identity of this invisible partner. Ready for the clues? Okay, hint number 1. This company is a genuine global powerhouse. We're talking operations in 32 different countries. And get this, they work with a network of over 75,000 channel partners. I mean, that is just a massive, massive scale. Ready for the second clue? This isn't just about a few household names. This company has partnerships with over 450 global tech brands. That's a whole universe of technology literally passing through their system. And for your final clue, it's not just about physical gadgets. This company is also a huge player in cloud and software distribution, working directly with giants like Microsoft and AWS. So their reach goes all the way from the device in your hand to the cloud itself. So you've got a global footprint, a massive portfolio of brands, and a hand in both hardware and software. Have you figured it out yet? If you guessed Redington Limited, you nailed it. This is the invisible giant that connects the world's biggest tech brands to all of us, the end consumers. So now that we know who they are, let's talk about their performance. And honestly, on the surface, the story looks incredible. This company is firing on all cylinders. You can just feel the momentum here. In the second quarter of fiscal year 26, Redington's sales shot up by a huge 17% year-on-year. That's almost 3,000 crore rupees, and it's driven by really strong performance in all their markets. But this is where it gets even more impressive. Their operating profit jumped by an incredible 28% in that same period, hitting 589 crore rupees. So they're not just selling more stuff, they're actually getting more profitable as they do it. But there's always a but, isn't there? There's a catch. You see, hiding just beneath that shiny surface of amazing growth, there is a pretty big risk brewing. And it's one of those classic business problems that can sneak up and bite even the most successful companies. Let's break it down. Okay, just look at these numbers from the previous fiscal year. On the left, sales grew by a really healthy 11%. That's fantastic. But look to the right. Their receivables, that's the money customers owe them, grew by 24%. That is more than double the rate of sales. And that points to one thing. They're selling a whole lot more on credit. And here is the direct result of that gap. Because customers were taking longer and longer to pay their bills, the actual cash the company generated from its day-to-day operations plummeted by a staggering 73%. Growth is fantastic, but cash is king. And their cash flow was suddenly under some serious pressure. And just so we're all on the same page, trade receivables is just a fancy term for invoices. It's the money you're owed for things you've already delivered. Think of it like a stack of IOUs from your customers. Every business has them, but the real trouble starts when that stack gets too high, too fast. So let's just trace the logic here. The whole business model deals with high-value products on pretty thin margins, which means they need lots of inventory and they sell a lot on credit. So as they pushed for that impressive growth, they sold more and more on credit. That made their receivables just balloon, which directly squared the amount of actual cash they had on hand. It's a textbook cause and effect chain. So what does this all really mean? If you're an investor or just someone keeping an eye on a company like Redington, what is the bottom line here? All right, here's the key takeaway. Redington's entire business is built on high volume and selling on credit. That's just the nature of the distribution game. But that creates a constant risk. You have to maintain this very delicate balance between growing your sales and keeping cash flowing. So for any investor, the secret isn't just to watch those sales numbers climb, but to watch receivables very closely to make sure they're not dangerously outpacing that growth. And that brings us to the end. It's a really fascinating story of a hidden giant that's seeing some explosive growth, but also has to manage a pretty significant hidden risk. Which, of course, brings me back to my very first question. Did you guess Redington? Thanks for tuning in.